Monsters, especially those born out of an artist's deranged imagination, are more popular than any movie star, be it a werewolf, predatory aliens, vampires, skyscraper-sized apes, giant-sized gorillas, or a deadly fungus. We fear them all, but we can't help being intrigued. They are more fearful than any human villains we have ever encountered. So this video is for all who plan to watch a movie with a powerful mutant monster. We have 10 such examples, and we hope you will love this video. So please watch it until the end. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Your stocking has just been teleported from one pod.
Brundlefly, The Fly, 1986. Did you love reading Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis? Then you will love the characterization of Brundlefly from the 1986 movie The Fly, a horror sci-fi movie directed and co-written by David Cronenberg, a remake of the 1958 film of the same name, The Fly. Brundlefly, aka Nathaniel Brundle, played by Jeff Goldblum, is the central antagonist. Initially, he's a brilliant molecular physicist who suffers from motion sickness, a condition that began in childhood and led to his intense dislike of vehicles. To overcome this, Brundle decides to create a teleportation machine. One night, while drunk, he impulsively decides to teleport himself, unaware that a housefly has slipped into the telepod machine with him. The teleportation is successful. However, in the following weeks, Brundle notices alarming changes in his body, such as hair growing on his back and his nails falling off. He also feels strangely energized. Brundle checks his computer records and discovers that during the teleportation, the telepod, confused by the presence of two life forms, the housefly and Brundle, merged them into one. The genetic fusion with the housefly causes him to become deformed, sickly, and asymmetrical. Before the teleportation, Brundle was a normal human. His metamorphosis into a humanoid fly leaves him highly energized, with increased strength, agility, and sexual potency, while requiring very little sleep. Even as his condition deteriorates, he retains superhuman strength and develops extraordinary abilities, such as rapidly climbing walls and vomiting corrosive enzymes onto his food and enemies. Coga The Relic, 1997. The 1997 movie The Relic portrays Vincent Hammond and Brian Steele as the antagonists, Coga. It's a horror movie based on Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child's best-selling 1995 novel Relic. Cogas are ancient monstrous creatures born from animals or humans consuming fungi with mutagenic hormones. The creature is said to have guarded a South American tribe, which later built a statue in its honor. John Whitney, an American anthropologist at the Museum of Natural History, takes the statue after encountering the South American tribe. Identifying Whitney as a threat, the tribe gives him a soup made from the same fungus, eventually transforming him into a Coga. After the transformation, Coga goes on a killing spree and haunts the Museum of Natural History. He is a feral and carnivorous monster who feeds on the hormones in the hypothalamus of humans and other vertebrates. His powers allow him to recognize traps, hide bodies, and do whatever it takes to stay out of sight, making him even more dangerous. He possesses superhuman strength, durability, stamina, and speed. Godzilla, 1954. The next one on the list is an absolute favorite in the monster universe, making its first appearance in the 1954 movie Godzilla. Godzilla is a Japanese epic directed and co-directed by Ishiro Honda. The movie stars Haru Nakajima and Katsumi Tezuka as the main antagonist, Godzilla. Godzilla is a giant prehistoric reptile adapted to both the sea and land. It inhabited the deep underwater for millions of years, feeding on deep-sea organisms. His underwater habitat was destroyed by a hydrogen bomb test conducted by the Americans, which killed his entire family and left him burnt and scarred. He mutated to become a giant monster, attacking ships in the waters of Japan. Though not an amphibian but rather a reptile, Godzilla spends much of his life underwater and the rest on land. He is as formidable in the sea as he is on land. Godzilla's atomic breath, also known as incandescent light ray, can set ablaze an entire city and obliterate most military military weapons. His survival of the hydrogen bomb tests prove he is durable and immune to almost anything. He can also use his jaws and teeth to bite down on buildings, and his tail can destroy buildings with a single strike. At the movie's end, Godzilla is struck down by naval forces. However, he rises again in the 1955 movie Godzilla Raids Again.
Start the reactor.
Kuato, Total Recall, 1990. The 1990 sci-fi action film Total Recall, directed by Paul Verhoeven and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Rachel Ticotin, Sharon Stone, Ronnie Cox, and Michael Ironside, features a minor character named Kuato, a mutant human who resembles a deformed infant. Kuato emerges from the stomach of his conjoined twin George and remains fused to his torso. He's different from other monsters because he has the unique superpower of a psychic who can delve deep into and read human minds. His primary objective is to overthrow Mars colony's ruthless and dominating governor and activate an ancient alien device discovered beneath the colony's minds. The device will help Kuato purify the colony's atmosphere, making it breathable and ending the governor's monopoly on its limited air supply. Kuato uses his psychic abilities to discover the atmospheric reactor's location, but is attacked by the governor's soldiers. Unfortunately, Kuato is murdered when he is shot by a machine gun.
Officer O'Clancy, take care of this toxic waste.
Toxie, The Toxic Avenger, 1984. The Toxic Avenger is a 1984 superhero black comedy splatter film written by Lloyd Kaufman and Joe Ritter. The film follows a janitor named Melvin Ferd who works at a health club. Weighing only 98 pounds, he is remarkably weak and is constantly harassed by certain customers named Bozo, Slug, Wanda, and Julie. One day, his tormentors chase him around the health club and out of a second-story window. Melvin lands in a drum of toxic waste that sets him on fire. He runs down the street engulfed in flames and dives into a bathtub to extinguish the fire. The chemical waste transforms his body into a deformed creature with superhuman strength and size. Melvin begins violently killing criminals and becomes publicly known as the Monster Hero and the Toxic Avenger. As he aids the people of the city, criminals and underground crime ringleaders plot to kill him, but he escapes every attack. The movie concludes with a reassurance that Melvin, aka the Toxic Avenger, will continue combating crime and saving people's lives. Rampage Creature, Rampage 2018. Until now, we've been dealing with one or two monsters, but as we come to review the American movie released in 2018, we encounter three deadly monsters who give this action-adventure giant monster film new heights. The first monster we meet in the movie is George, an albino western lowland gorilla. When George was an infant, primatologist Davis Okoye saved and befriended him, and he grew up under his guidance in a sanctuary. However, a fateful genetic experiment transformed George into a savage creature. He possesses superhuman qualities like speed, durability, stamina, agility, and most notably, the ability to rapidly self-heal from any physical injury, making him a formidable opponent. The second monster we encounter is a mutated wolf, one of the three main antagonists, the other being Claire Wyden and Lizzie the crocodile. He's named Ralph, and he was once a normal wolf from the wilds of Wyoming until one day he was exposed to a genetic-altering chemical that transformed him into a monstrous creature. He gained superhuman powers and features, including porcupine quills on his back, opposable thumbs with sharp claws on his front paws, bat-like ears, bulletproof skin, a mutated tail that shoots projectiles at his victims, and a wing membrane that allows him to glide like a flying squirrel. Finally, the third monster we encounter in this movie is Lizzie the crocodile, who, like Ralph, is transformed into a monster from a giant crocodile due to a genetic-altering chemical, acquiring superhuman or monstrous qualities such as a neck frill that flares out, spines on her back, multiple rows of teeth, two tusks on the upper jaw, fish-like gills on her neck, a spike-covered tongue, and spikes on her tail, forming a mace. She also has armored skin and massive gecko-like feet. All three of these monsters appear in a video game of the same name, and along with them, there's also an unnamed rat monster, which many believe is a reference to the character Larry. Sharktus. Sharktus 2010. Sharktus is the antagonist of the 2010 sci-fi movie of the same name. It's an experimental superweapon designed by the US Naval Army by infusing the DNA of a shark and an octopus. Blue Water is the name of the firm that created this monster. However, they also made an electric impulse collar to control it. During a test conducted by Nathan and Nicole, the boat makes a turn, accidentally destroying the collar and freeing the monster from control, allowing it to embark on a killing spree. Since the monster was created by infusing the DNA of a shark and an octopus, the S11 titular antagonist has sharp teeth, long tentacles, and an insatiable hunger, leading to many deaths. Guam The Host. The next monster we will discuss is Guam, a Korean creature featured in the 2006 South Korean movie The Host, internationally known as The Host. The monster is a mutated fish resembling a gray tadpole that breathes oxygen through its gills like a fish. But unlike a fish, it can move on land. It has a segmented jaw with mandibles surrounded by teeth, gills, and 2 eyes, with a massive overgrowth on the right eye. In addition to 2 rows of fins on the tail, the creature has a long, whip-like tongue tucked inside the mouth. Moreover, it has feet with 2 arms directly behind them, and in place of hind legs, there are 4 fin-like appendages. However, it doesn't need to use them because this creature can stabilize itself with its forelimbs. Although this creature relishes eating humans, it doesn't always eat them. Sometimes it only regurgitates or traps them, leaving them to starve and suffer injuries. Guamo's appearance is monstrous, but its powers and abilities are even worse. It has superhuman resilience, agility, brute strength, and a powerful sense of vision and hearing. It also has superhuman aquatic and acrobatic abilities that help it move and climb around the undersides of bridges. Cordyceps, the deadly fungus in Super Deep 2020. Super Deep stands out among other Russian horror movies as a truly terrifying flick. The whole story revolves around a deadly fungus known as the cordyceps, or zombie ant fungus. The real-life Cola Super Deep borehole inspired this 2020 film, which broke theatrical release. The story unfolds as follows. The Cola Super Deep borehole, the deepest artificial hole in the world, is situated in northwest Russia, where researchers have reportedly heard sounds of unknown origin. The researchers enter the facility using an elevator, guided by Anna, and discover something unexpected and horrifying. A threat to the future of humankind and one of the greatest threats in history, mutant cordyceps. In reality, cordyceps infect ants and spiders, controlling their bodies and dictating their movements. Some claim that cordyceps are unlikely to infect humans due to the significant differences between the human body and the insects that the fungus typically infects. However, Peter is attacked by a giant creature made up of infected hosts, and Anna also becomes infected with mold within her body. In addition to being infectious and aggressive, cordyceps have other superpowers and abilities, such as withstanding high temperatures, controlling infected people, plotting, planning, and even motivating living beings to flee the outside world. As seen in the movie, mutant cordyceps force the infected ant to return to its colony, ultimately leading to the infection of the entire colony.
All you have to do is let go.
Sarah, a Void Walker's Tale. The next movie we will be discussing is The Void. It's a remarkable horror film released in 2016 and stars Aaron Poole, Kenneth Welch, Ellen Wong, and Art Hindle. One night, while sitting in his cruiser on a lonely road, Officer Daniel Carter, Poole, discovers Evan Stern, a man covered in blood. He brings the man to a hospital where a nurse mutilates herself and murders a patient. Soon after, he discovers something even more horrifying within the hospital and encounters a gang of enigmatic hooded men surrounding it. In the 2016 Canadian horror film The Void, the Sarah creature, previously known as Sarah Powell, plays a significant antagonistic role. Sarah Powell transforms into the Sarah creature when a doctor strikes a deal with an alien force to gain the ability to bring his deceased daughter back to life, knowing that doing so would cause her to reappear as a terrifying mutant creature. The Sarah creature, more than just a monster, is a 4-legged, zombie-like being wrapped in tentacles, necrotic flesh, and sickness. Its appearance resembles a skull with tentacles in place of the lower jaw, and it walks on its knuckles like a giant gorilla. The Sarah creature's powers and abilities include superhuman strength and tentacles. Marvelous Verdict. So this is a list of all the horrific mutant monsters who can snatch away all beautiful dreams and give you dreadful nightmares. Remember, most of these mutants were normal like us until something horrible, like an experiment or a genetic alteration occurred that led to their transformation or mutation. So that's all for today. Do you want to add more names to this list? Mention them in the comments section and also tell us why you think they are the most dangerous. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.